You are listening to the daily homily for Magdala in the Holy Land.
Jesus said to his disciples, "Do not give what is holy to dogs, or throw your pearls before swine, lest them trample them underfoot and tear you to pieces. Do to others whatever you would have them to do you. This is the law and the prophets. Enter through the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the road broad that leads to destruction, and those who enter through it are many. How narrow the gate and constricted the road that leads to life, and those who find it are few." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The first reading presents us one of the most famous deeds in the history of Israel. So it was Sennacherib, the mighty king of Assyria. He was about to conquer the city and to conquer the kingdom. And in this moment of history, Assyria was the most powerful kingdom in the Middle East. In fact, 20 years before, in 222, Sennacherib himself conquered the kingdom of the north, the kingdom of Galilee, this area. And from a human point of view, there was no hope for Jerusalem to resist the attack of the mighty king. But God promised him to be safe. And in fact, as we have read, God protected the city from this attack. And this fact was reread through the history of Israel as a sign of protection. God will protect us always because we are the elected city, we are Israel, the chosen people. And this same pattern of the protection of God, of the small people against mighty nations, it has been a pattern throughout history, not only in the history of Israel, but in the history of the church as well. The church as a new Israel, as a continuation of the promise of God. And we have seen that throughout the history, how the church has survived a helpless situation from a human point of view. For example, how was possible for the church to live 300 years of persecution? I mean, not a constant persecution, but basically 300 years under the Roman Empire, under the mighty Roman Empire, under the powerful Roman Empire. And despite that, the church survived, and the church flourished after them. Or for example, under Napoleon, the son of the French Revolution, with his mentality, with his anti-Christian mentality, he conquered the pontifical states, and he said he took captive the Pope. He took as prisoner the Pope. He was Pius VI, and he promised, so this guy is going to be the last pope in history. But history continued. Napoleon died, and the church survived and thrived, although all the persecutions. Or in the last century, for example, in many countries where the communists took over, what happened? The church was supposed to finish, and the communists passed, and the church continued. So we have seen that pattern, that God protects always his people, but this protection is not easy. And this is related to the gospel. So the gospel said how narrow the gate and constricted the road that leads to life. So the protection of God is not easy because it's surrounded by persecution. It's surrounded by problems. And the Lord stated that clearly through the gospel. So you will have persecutions, you will fight the war, but at the end, the victory is declared because God is helping us. So I think that should be also an invitation for hope, especially in this time of war, of distress, hope, because the Lord protects His people. The Lord is always with us. Although there might be persecutions, although there might be hard situations, we learn from history that the victory is in our part because God is with us. And I think with this confidence, we can continue this Mass, especially praying for peace above all here in the Holy Land, so that God, the Prince of Peace, Christ, the Prince of Peace, give us the necessary understanding to arrive to peace.
Thank you for joining us today. If you want to learn more about Magdala, follow us on YouTube and on Facebook.